He sold nothing all day. Then, on the way home, he gave away his own hat. Long ago, high in the snow country, an old man and his wife lived in a hut so small that the wind went straight through it. They had worked hard all their lives and owned almost nothing. It was the last day of the year. Tomorrow was New Year, when every house in Japan eats white rice cakes and fish. The old woman tipped up the rice barrel, and one grain fell out. "We cannot let the year turn on an empty pot," said the old man. He pulled out the straw he had saved, sat down by the little fire, and began to weave. By afternoon 5 straw hats stood in a row, tight and neat and good. He tied them onto his back and set off down the mountain to sell them. The snow was already up to his knees on the road. He walked bent forward into the wind, an old man carrying 5 hats and one hope. The town was loud and warm with New Year. People hurried past him with fish and rice cakes and armfuls of green pine for their doorways. Hats. Good straw hats. He called all afternoon. But nobody buys a sun hat in a blizzard, and by evening not one person had even stopped to look. The stalls closed one by one. The lanterns went out. He still had 5 hats on his back and not a single coin in his hand. So he turned for home, hungry, with nothing to carry to his wife but the snow on his shoulders. Halfway up the mountain road stood 6 small stone Jizo in a row, the quiet guardians of children and travelers. The snow had buried them to the chin. The old man stopped in front of them. "You must be cold tonight," he said. And he began to sweep the snow off their faces with his bare hands. He cleared their shoulders and their small folded hands until all 6 stone faces were looking out at the storm again. Then he untied his bundle. "If nobody in the town wants these," he said, "then perhaps you will." And he tied the first hat onto the first Jizo. He tied one on the second, and the third, and the fourth, and the fifth, and pulled each cord snug under the little stone chins. Then he looked down at his empty hands. 5 hats. 6 Jizo. The last one stood bare in the falling snow. The old man did not think about it for long. He took the worn hat off his own head, tied it onto the 6th, bowed to all 6 of them, and walked away into the storm bareheaded. He came in at his own door white with snow, with no rice, no money, and no hat. "Forgive me," he said. "I sold nothing, and then I gave the hats away." His wife brushed the snow off his shoulders. "You did a fine thing," she said. "The Jizo were cold, and now they are not. That is a good way to end a year." They drank hot water, because hot water was all there was, and they lay down hungry while the storm shook the little house. Deep in the night the old woman woke. Far off in the dark, somebody was singing, "Where is the house of the kind old man? Where is his door?" The singing came nearer and nearer until it was right outside the wall. Then something heavy struck the ground, and the whole house shook. At first light they slid the door open and stopped where they stood. Piled against the step were bales of rice, white rice cakes, fish, cloth, and gold coins spilling out into the snow. And leading away up the hill were 6 sets of small footprints, and 6 little figures walking off into the morning, each one wearing a straw hat. So the poorest house on the mountain kept the richest New Year of all. And they say that kindness given away in the snow always finds its way home. Like, comment, subscribe, and watch the next tale.